You've been told the same thing for decades. Stick to 8 to 12 reps, like it's some universal law of muscle growth. But here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud that golden range might actually be holding you back, especially if you're a man over 40 trying to build real muscle, not just maintain what's left. Because, let's be real, your body today isn't the same as it was at 25. Recovery is slower. Joints complain louder. And the same workout that used to leave you pumped now barely makes a dent. Yet you keep pushing harder and longer, hoping effort alone will do the trick. But what if the issue isn't effort? What if it's the type of stimulus you're giving your muscles? Worse than feeling stuck is looking in the mirror and seeing nothing, no change, despite doing everything right. People tell you, that's just part of aging. No, that's not normal. What's normal is training the wrong way for your current reality. That's what's killing your results. Some guys over 40 go heavy, chasing low-rep strength, and never see real growth. Others go ultra-light, with endless reps, and stay skinny. Both are stuck in outdated methods that don't match their physiology anymore. So, which one actually works? Today, you're going to find out. We'll break down what rep ranges really do, not based on gym myths, but real science. You'll understand how high reps impact hypertrophy, how low reps build density, and how each style affects recovery, joint health, and long-term results. And if you still believe high reps define, low reps bulk, it's time to let that go. That myth died years ago, but a lot of guys are still stuck training like it's 1995. Because here's the kicker. Reps are just one piece of the puzzle. What really matters is how they interact with your muscle fiber type, training history, lifestyle, and current goals. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tailor your rep strategy for max results. If this is already hitting close to home, hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next might just change the way you train forever. What high reps really do to your body. High rep training gets a bad rap. People think it's easy or just for toning. But the truth is, when done right, high rep sets can be brutally effective, especially for guys over 40. The trick isn't just doing more reps, it's staying under tension, pushing through the burn, and making every second count. Once you cross into that 12 to 20 rep range, the game changes. You're not just lifting weight anymore, you're creating time under tension. And time? Time is a weapon. It triggers something called metabolic stress, a wave of lactate, hydrogen ions, and cellular chaos that forces your body to adapt. The result? Bigger, fuller muscles that hold more glycogen, pull in more nutrients, and handle fatigue like a machine. This type of training lights up something called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, the expansion of the muscle cell's fluid volume. It's not just size, it's that dense, pumped, rounded look. And for men over 40, that matters. It helps counter the natural loss of muscle tone that comes with age, keeping your physique looking alive, not deflated. But the benefits go deeper. With high-rep training, muscles become more efficient. They endure longer, recover faster, and respond quicker to stimulation. This carries over into real life. Stairs feel easier. Carrying groceries doesn't drain you, and your energy throughout the day improves. You're not just building muscle, you're building capacity. And here's a major bonus: joint safety. Lighter loads mean less joint stress. That means fewer injuries, more precise form, and more confidence in your movement. If you've ever backed off training because of pain, this style lets you train hard without paying the price later. Consistency wins the game, and pain-free training is the only way to stay consistent. Let's not forget the pump, that massive blood flow to the muscle that makes it feel like it's about to burst. That's not just for show. It triggers powerful anabolic signals like mTOR and IGF-1, setting the stage for real growth. You may not be moving heavy weight, but your body still gets the message. But there's a catch, and it's where most guys screw up: the invisible limit of high-rep training. Here's what nobody tells you about high reps. They're a double-edged sword. They feel productive. They leave you drenched in sweat, heart pounding, muscles on fire. But if you're not careful, that burn you're chasing turns into a trap, especially after 40. Because at some point, the set stops being about muscle and starts being about survival. You've probably felt it. Halfway through a long set, your lungs are begging, your head's spinning, and your form's falling apart. But the muscle? It could probably keep going. That's the hidden flaw of high-rep training. Your cardiovascular system taps out before your target muscle does. And when that happens, your effort looks intense, but your results? Not so much. This is where a lot of guys over 40 start to stall. They think they're training safely by keeping the weight light, but they're not generating enough mechanical tension to actually trigger growth. The muscle's not being pushed to adapt. It's just surviving the set. And without that structural stress, the kind that makes fibers rebuild stronger, hypertrophy becomes shallow and short-lived. Even worse, the fatigue becomes systemic. Instead of a clean, targeted hit to one muscle group, you end up exhausting your entire body. Focus drops. Form slips. Recovery takes longer. And all that for a pump that fades by the time you're out of the locker room. And let's talk about plateaus, because if you live in high-rep land, you'll hit one sooner than you think. Your body adapts fast to volume. If you're not increasing weight, and many don't, because the reps are already high, then the only way to progress is adding even more reps. That works until it doesn't. Sessions drag on, motivation dips, results stall. Sound familiar? There's another harsh reality. The kind of muscle you build from high-rep training is less stable. It's volume-based, fluid, glycogen, cell swelling. Skip a few meals, miss a couple workouts, and it deflates. It looks great when you're locked in, but it fades quick when life gets in the way. That's not ideal if you're looking to build a lasting, resilient physique. So, are high reps worthless? Not at all. They're an incredible tool, when used correctly. The problem is when they become your whole strategy. When every workout looks the same, with the same volume, chasing the same burn. That's not training smart. That's spinning your wheels. But what happens when you flip the script? When you go heavy, keep the reps low, and attack the muscle with raw force? That's where things get interesting. The hidden strength of low-rep training. People love to bash low-rep training. They say it's for ego lifters, not real results. But when done right, with surgical precision and strategic focus, low-rep work becomes one of the most powerful tools a man over 40 can use to rebuild strength, muscle density, and total control over his body. 4 to 8 reps. That's the sweet spot for pure mechanical tension. When you train in this range, you're not just moving weight. You're forcing your muscle to deal with maximum stress in minimal time. This is where real structural hypertrophy happens. The thickening of the muscle fibers themselves. The kind of growth that doesn't vanish with a bad night of sleep or a missed meal. And the benefits go way beyond aesthetics. Heavy training rewires your central nervous system. It teaches your brain how to activate more muscle fibers, faster, and with more precision. It builds coordination, balance, and power. For men in their 40s and beyond, this isn't just helpful. It's essential. Quick reactions, strong stabilizers, solid joint support, all of that starts in the nervous system. Another advantage? Progress is obvious. When the weights go up, you know you're improving. It's binary. Either you lifted it or you didn't. That clarity keeps motivation high and helps you stay consistent. Because there's nothing more addicting than seeing strength increase week after week. Then there's durability. Unlike the pump muscles built from high-rep training, low-rep strength gains are built on contractile proteins, actin and myosin. These gains are real, stable, and long-lasting. They don't disappear when life gets hectic. They're not fragile. They're earned. But here's where it gets dangerous. Lifting heavy is not a free pass. Just because you're doing fewer reps doesn't mean you can get sloppy. In fact, the margin for error shrinks as the weight goes up. Bad form with heavy loads equals injuries. And when you're over 40, injuries cost more. More time off, more setbacks, more frustration. That's why low-rep training must come with precision. Dialed-in technique, proper warm-ups, smart progression. You don't just chase numbers, you earn them. And if you respect the process, the results are undeniable. But before you load up the bar, there's one critical mistake guys make with heavy training. And it could be the very reason their progress stalls, no matter how strong they get. The cost of training heavy. There's a price to pay for going heavy. And it's not always obvious until it's too late. Every time you stack more plates, you're not just testing your muscle. You're testing your joints, your tendons, your ligaments, and your movement patterns. And when just one of those systems fails, everything grinds to a halt. That's the first major risk: technical breakdown. With heavy loads, the room for error is razor thin. One bad rep, one lapse in focus, one missed cue, and boom, injury. And here's the thing. At 20, you bounce back. At 40, you're sidelined for weeks, maybe months. You lose progress, you lose rhythm, and worst of all, you lose momentum. There's also the recovery toll. Heavy lifting taxes the nervous system, the joints, the connective tissue, not just the muscles. It demands more rest, more sleep, more strategy. If you ignore that, signs show up fast. Joint pain, poor sleep, fatigue, irritability. And most guys think they're just getting old, when really, they're just under-recovering. Another overlooked downside? Low time under tension. Those short, intense sets don't give your muscles the same metabolic stimulus that creates the pump, the vascularity, the local endurance. So yeah, you get strong. But sometimes you don't look it. The muscle doesn't pop. It doesn't stay full. It's like having horsepower with no paint job. And then there's volume. Fewer reps, fewer sets, less total work. If you don't balance that with intelligent programming, you're not stimulating enough muscle. You lift heavier, sure, but your body doesn't look any different. That disconnect leads to frustration, doubt, and eventually, burnout. Let's not forget this. Not all muscles respond the same way to heavy lifting. Some love it. Others, not so much. And if you're blindly applying low-rep strength work across your whole body, you might be wasting time and leaving gains on the table. Because when it comes to muscle, one size definitely does not fit all. The mistake of training. Every muscle the same way. Here's where most training programs fall apart. They treat the body like every muscle responds the same. Same reps, same load, same tempo. But the truth is, every muscle has a unique fiber composition, a specific function, and a different recovery profile. And if you ignore that, you're not just slowing progress, you're sabotaging it. Take the soleus, for example, a deep calf muscle loaded with slow-twitch fibers. It's designed for endurance, not explosive force. So, what does that mean? It thrives on volume, long sets, extended time under tension. Trying to build it with low reps and heavy loads? It's like trying to outsprint a marathoner. Wrong tool for the job. Now flip that. Muscles like the quads, chest, hamstrings, and traps, packed with fast twitch fibers. These guys love intensity. They respond best to low reps, high load, and explosive movement. Train them with nothing but high rep, low weight fluff, and you'll get mediocre results at best. No density, no power, no presence. Then there are hybrid muscles, like the glutes and delts. A mix of fast and slow fibers. These demand variety. You can't just hammer them one way and expect full development. You need to hit them heavy and long. Think heavy hip thrusts followed by high-rep kickbacks, or overhead presses paired with burnout lateral raises. That's how you unlock real growth. This explains why so many guys struggle with certain areas. Ever wonder why your arms grow fast, but your calves won't budge? Or why your chest fills out, but your back stays flat? It's not lack of effort. It's mismatch of stimulus. Wrong reps, wrong load, wrong system. Smart training isn't just hard training. It's targeted. You lift heavy where it counts and go for volume where it's needed. You stop copying cookie-cutter programs and start listening to your body. Because once you align your strategy with your muscle physiology, everything starts to click. But here's the real game changer. You don't have to pick sides. You can, and should, use both styles to get the best of both worlds. The smartest path is to combine both. When you really understand how the body works, the whole high reps versus low reps debate starts to feel pointless, because it's not about choosing sides. It's about using the right tool at the right time, and combining both for a complete, powerful, sustainable approach. This is where hybrid training shines. You start to see training not as one way or the other, but as a spectrum. You go heavy when it matters, with compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, presses, rows. That's where you build foundational strength and stimulate fast-twitch fibers. 4 to 8 reps, controlled tempo, full focus. Then you switch gears. You bring in high-rep isolation work, curls, lateral raises, flies, calf raises. You chase the burn, extend the time under tension, flood the muscle with blood. 12 to 20 reps, clean form, deep mind-muscle connection. That's where you create shape, fullness, and resilience. This dual approach unlocks 2 kinds of growth at once, structural and metabolic. One builds thick, dense, long-lasting muscle. The other enhances vascularity, endurance, and that pumped, athletic look. Together, they create a physique that's not just strong, but functional, aesthetic, and built to last. And for men over 40, this method does something even more powerful. It keeps you in the game. It balances stress across the joints. It gives your nervous system time to recover. It keeps training fun, challenging, and purposeful. No more burnout. No more overuse injuries. Just steady, smart evolution. Plus, let's be real, training this way feels good. You lift heavy, you get stronger. You chase the pump, you see change, you feel the intensity without the breakdown. It reignites your motivation, reminds you that your best shape isn't behind you. It's still ahead. You just needed the right plan. Because at the end of the day, it's not about extremes. It's about knowing your body, respecting your stage of life, and training with clarity and intention. That's what builds muscle after 40. That's what keeps you sharp, mobile, and proud of the man in the mirror. You've seen it all now. The myths, the science, the traps. And the truth is crystal clear. It's not about picking high reps or low reps. It's about matching the stimulus to your body, your goals, and your current stage of life. Because building muscle after 40 isn't about grinding harder. It's about training smarter. You don't need longer workouts. You need better ones, with the right blend of intensity and volume, of strength and endurance, of precision and passion. The kind that actually respects your body and drives real change. The difference between looking the same year after year and finally seeing transformation? It's not effort, it's alignment. Getting your reps, your tempo, your exercise selection working with your body, not against it. You don't need to train like a 20-year-old to look incredible at 40. You just need to understand the game and play it right. And now, you've got the playbook. So now tell me, what's the one thing you're changing in your training after this? If this video gave you at least one aha moment, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's keep building this together. And if you've got a friend still stuck in the old one-size-fits-all mindset, share this with him. Because sometimes, all it takes is one new perspective to change everything.